Hey guys, TommyBryson here, and today I'm going to tell you exactly my 5 biggest mistakes that I've made investing into the S&P 500. And by the way, I saved for the past 4 years, but in reality, I've been an owner of the S&P 500 in some way for the past almost 5 years. But I took it seriously about 4 years ago in 2020 during the entire pandemic. So yeah. That's pretty crazy. And by the way, if you're wondering, Tommy, how have those investments done for you that you actually bought back then? The answer is, in 2020, I bought around 200 shares at an average price of around $309, and that investment has gone up by around 43% or so. So it's done pretty good. And some of those investments that I made early on that year in 2020 are up over 90%. So there are some cool things about investing into the S&P 500, but there are some mistakes that I made along the way that I'm going to break down so this way you don't make those mistakes also. Now do me a favor and smash the like button and let's get right into it. Now the very first mistake that I made was basically not starting soon enough. Yeah, not starting soon enough. Okay, so I started investing at an early age, although I think I was late because I would compare myself to Warren Buffett. He started at age 11, I started at age 19. A lot of people started investing in their 30s or 40s or 50s, okay? So if you're in your 20s or 30s or 40s, you're still good to go, so don't worry, all right? You don't have to be like some phenomenon or whatever. But the point is, I did start late. And when I did start investing into the S&P 500, what happened was I wasn't just investing into the S&P 500. I was doing, for example, individual stocks because I did not know anything about index funds and mutual funds. All I knew about was basically Apple and Tesla and that stock and this stock, okay? I invested a total of around $10,000. If I had grabbed that same amount of money back then and just invested it and left it alone till today, I would have somewhere around $22,250. I would have 2x my money. I would have made double my money without doing anything whatsoever. And in reality, what I made from that initial investment of $10,000 back then was probably somewhere around $1,500 to $2,000 most likely. And that was basically it. So that was a big mistake, starting too late. So the minute you find out and you watch this video about index funds and mutual funds, do your research so this way you can start off very early. And early, I mean as fast as you possibly can. Now, number 2, guys, is going to be buying blocks instead of consistently investing. At the time, when I started investing and taking seriously the S&P 500, I had a business and my business gave me a greater return on my money. So I would say, I'm just going to invest blocks every now and then when I see an opportunity. And that was probably not the best idea. What I should have done was basically say, hey, I make a lot of money, for example, from my business, but I should grab a specific amount of money and invest that consistently no matter what. Because sometimes I would find myself with a good chunk of money and I put it into my business instead of trying to diversify into the stock market in a way. So being consistent is a lot better. I would probably have more money than I do right now if I had just been consistently investing between 10 to 20% of my income every single month I got paid. And by the way, some of my early blocks in 2020 are worth 90%. Some of my later blocks are worth 30% because I would buy big chunks and then not buy anything, then buy big chunks and then not buy anything, and that's not pretty good, okay? And here's why. Because the third mistake I made was basically trying to time the market. And by the way, I made a lot of money timing the market. And by the way, I can officially tell you this without a doubt, I just got lucky because you can't actually time the market. I happened to be in 2020 when the market basically went down by a lot, and I happened to be a person that wanted to take advantage of it. Now, can I predict what's going to happen next? Can I predict I'm going to have money on hand? Can I predict I'm actually going to take the risk? The answer is, of course I can. I can't time the market whatsoever. And can I predict the bottom? The answer is, of course I can. So in reality, when I did make all that money in 2020, which is cool stuff, I just got lucky. Timing the market is a stupid idea. You're better off just investing consistently. That's why my mistake 2 and my mistake 3, they run parallel. Instead of trying to do blocks, just be consistent. Instead of trying to time the market, just be consistent. That's going to give you a much better average performance instead of trying to be like, well, it's going to go up, might go down, and you're probably left out of investing for a long time potentially. Now, number 4, my 4th mistake was basically not solely investing into the S&P 500. Yes, it sounds like I'm saying it wrong, but I am trying to say exactly what you might think I'm not trying to say. It sounds confusing, but here's what I'm saying. I'm saying I made a mistake of not just only putting all of my money in this one egg called the S&P 500, because this one egg is good enough, okay? I should have done that from the very beginning. In the beginning, I wasn't doing that. I was investing, for example, in small cap, in large cap, in international large cap stocks, and also in REITs, and also into international growing markets. And my whole idea was basically, well, if this market goes down, then this market might go up and I'll be fine and I'll have more stability or whatever. And then you start to think and start to really think, and you're like, well, what are you worried about? And my answer was, well, what if it goes down like crazy tomorrow? Well, does it matter? Are you planning to sell tomorrow? No, I'm planning to keep for the long term. Then what's the history? History shows that it recovers from every single downturn. Okay, so that's thrown out. Well, I want to be diversified, because what if I lose all my money just by investing into one thing? Well, what's the history here, Tommy? Well, if you're buying the S&P 500, effectively, in a sense, in my opinion, you're basically buying the whole American market, okay? And if you lose all your money, it means America collapse. And if America collapse, what do you think is going to happen with the international stocks? What do you think is going to happen with the growing markets or whatever? The answer is everything is most likely going to take a massive hit, and at that point, most likely things won't really matter as much. So then I started to notice that I was like, yeah, it makes no sense. And by trying to basically keep steady the ride or have less bumps along the road, I'm basically getting a mediocre return. So I'm better off just putting all my money into the S&P 500, which, by the way, is diversified. It's 500 different largest companies in the US. It's diversified. You know, they're all into different markets, into different areas. You're diversified, okay? So it's more than enough, at least for me. And I feel pretty good about it. And this way, I make a little bit more money. My ride might go from this now to, for example, just the S&P 500 to this, having some of these and some of these, but it always goes up according to history, okay? That's the whole idea. And that's why I'm not really worried about that anymore. Now, number 5 is stop investing. I made the mistake of not stopping investing and reinvesting when I should have, okay? So my whole goal with the stock market was simple. I wanted to get to a point when the stock market made me enough money to cover every single dollar I needed to spend. And that is basically where I got. The stock market can literally today cover every single need that I have. Not every want, every need. And what do I need? My needs, okay? I can always just stop wanting things, okay? It's not a big deal. And for me, my needs, by the way, are less than $1,000. So don't think I have like billions of dollars in stock market. It's not it. It's not it at all. I just have very few needs because of the lifestyle I live and I like and I enjoy. I'm not trying to be out here accumulating things and trying to be the person with the most things and trying to have the most fancy things or trying to go on all these vacations, you know. I like vacations and I like things, you know, but I'm not going to be ruled by them. So no thank you. So since I do have that much money in the stock market now to cover my basics, the answer is, well, I don't need to keep investing into it. Now, it never hurts to keep accumulating more money in the stock market to have, for example, more buffer room. Let's say, for example, you need like $100,000 to cover your basics. And you're like, I'm gonna keep investing until I get to $200,000. That way I have double the amount of money I need. And if anything happens, I'll be good to go. My biggest worry with the stock market isn't really losing money. It's basically having a dry season for a very long time. Because for me right now, I don't really care because I'm alone. But if I'm trying to build a family and like have kids and have a wife and have a home to take care of, this kind of matters, right? But God knows and God wills and I trust him. However though, overall, it is a smart idea to have, for example, multiple sources of income that aren't directly tied to people's emotions. In the end of the day, in some way, the stock market value, not value, but price, is based on the emotions. If the people are very depressed, guess what's gonna happen? Market's gonna go down like crazy. And if I need cash during that time period, I might be taking a bigger chunk of my portfolio or a lot less money than I actually need. So what I decided is this. I'm going to stop investing into the stock market because I have enough, and I'm going to stop reinvesting my dividends. So I'm going to basically grab my dividends, grab the money I would have been investing, my savings, and use that money to buy, for example, real estate. Why, Tommy? And are you going to pay cash? The answer is yes. I'm going to attempt to just pay cash. And for me, I can buy properties here for like 60,000 to 80,000 to 100,000 to 120,000. It might take me a few years to save up, but it'll be worth it, okay? I'm planning to buy one probably by the end of this year or starting next year. That's the idea. But this way, every single month, I know how much money I'm gonna get in rent. And if something were to go wrong, I know for a fact I'm still gonna get my rent. And if I don't get rent for that month, I have the stock market. But this way, I have more wiggle room because I don't want to be liable to take money to the stock market. I want to let it grow and grow and grow. But I want to have some cash come in, you know? So that's it. But guys, thanks for watching this video. Those are my 5 biggest mistakes by investing into the S&P 500. It's not a bad investment. These aren't really like bad things in a way, but these are things you kind of learn along the way. Don't try to time the market. Just be consistent and know exactly how much money you need, when to stop, and how to diversify, okay? And what you're actually investing into. Guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. And as always, here's another one. Peace.